Hi, welcome back to Press Pause. Including today, there are only 6 Mondays before Christmas. And in the next several weeks, I thought it would be interesting to look at some of the different characters and events leading up to Christ's birth. So let's get started. The Christmas story really begins with the events leading up to the birth of John the Baptist. Luke 1:5-7 read, "In the time of Herod, king of Judea, there was a priest named Zechariah, who belonged to the priestly division of Abijah. His wife Elizabeth was also a descendant of Aaron. Both of them were upright in the sight of God, observing all the Lord's commandments and regulations blamelessly. But they had no children because Elizabeth was barren and they were both well along in years." Zechariah and Elizabeth were both born into priestly families, descendants of Aaron, and therefore they were responsible of taking care of the temple. Together, they fulfilled the duties of priestly families. They could have rejected their calling, but they didn't. They faithfully honored God and fulfilled God's purpose for their lives. Verse 6 says, "Both of them were upright in the sight of God, observing all the Lord's commandments and regulations blamelessly." They consistently did that which was right in God's sight and walked blamelessly before Him in both heart and in action. Were they without sin? Oh no, they weren't perfect, but they worked hard at living a life of integrity and honesty. And because they did, God was pleased with them. But then we read in verse 7, it says they had no children because Elizabeth was barren. Now, isn't that strange? A couple that accepted their calling, a couple that lived a righteous life pleasing to God, was childless. This seemed so unfair to a couple who lived to honor God in all their ways. So many other couples who were less righteous experienced the many blessings of God, especially having many children. Why? Why was God withholding children from Zechariah and Elizabeth? Why were they not blessed of God for their righteous actions? Why? In life, there are moments when we ask the why question. We just don't understand why our life has to be different from others. Why are others blessed and we are not? Why are we so different? We ask why of God. But I tell you, my friend, those whys really hold the key as to what God wants to do in your life. You see, there is a reason why God delays His blessings. He has something better in store for you. I know that is sometimes hard or difficult to believe, but He really does. Is He not in control of your life? Does He not know what is best for you? John the Baptist was the only child Zechariah and Elizabeth ever had. And because of that, they were able to pour all their energy in raising and training him to be the man God had called him to be, the forerunner of the Messiah. Waiting is something difficult, but I tell you from experience, it is better to wait for God's timing than to run ahead of Him and take matters into your own hands. I leave you with the words of King David found in Psalm 37. "Be still before God and wait patiently for Him. Do not fret. I was young, and now I am old, yet I have never seen the righteous forsaken or their children begging bread." For Paul says in Romans, we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Have you asked God recently why? Trust Him. Stop fretting, because your blessing is coming. It's all in God's timing.